For a long time, there was a rumor going around that I broke my FAC's lung. The exact details of how I broke it, usually explicit and wildly ridiculous, have fluctuated. But I am always named the culprit. He punctured his lung, yes, and we were dating, fine, but it wasn't my doing. The truth behind what happened and the events leading up to it were truly so much worse. At the beginning of my freshman year, I decided I had a crush on my FAC. He was older, extremely cute, and the very first boy I met on campus. Obviously, I had to have him. After the 3-week period during which a FAC and a FAClet may not be involved, I pursued him, beating out my fellow freshmen for his affection. Everything was falling into place. FAC was on the ski team, and so, being the psycho that I am, I joined the ski team as well. We started hanging out more often and managed to sidestep various obstacles in the first few weeks of hooking up. You know, those new couple obstacles. Constantly getting mocked by our friends, wiping out while getting down on the shooter's dance floor, and accidentally texting him the graphic details of our mediocre drunk sex that I meant to send my best friend from home. Wait, that's not a normal new couple obstacle? You mean everyone doesn't text their FAC the sentence, sloppy and floppy like a fish, but big-ish dick? And didn't last long, wasn't on top? When I screamed and collapsed into a ball after sending those messages by mistake, I thought the worst was over. I'd acknowledge what had happened, and we would either move on or we would never speak again. Instead, my roommate and I quickly realized that not only would I have to explain my mistake, I would have to clarify that I was talking about him. That's right, he thought I was describing my sex with someone else, because obviously his dick was bigger than ish. Now I was either sleeping around or shit-talking depending on my chosen truth. Pick your poison. Somehow we managed to survive the fiasco and continue hooking up throughout the month. Flash forward to the end of September and I get a text from FAC saying, "Hey, sorry, can't hang out later. Lung collapsed, getting surgery, LOL." LOL? I texted my friends and fellow FAClets unsure how to handle the situation. We decided to bring him a box of donuts as a get well and a hope you survive surgery gesture. 3 of us show up to the hospital to find FAC laying in a hospital gown. Who knew that my big-ish FAC could look so small and so broken? He had collapsed mid-physics class, and besides the professor that had brought him in, we were the only visitors he had. It was up to us. Well, me. To make him feel better. For an hour, we hung out as if lounging around our East Campus common room. John messed with the automatic bed, sending FAC up and down and back up again. Lizzie created elaborate stories for the sick and injured that walked by, and I clicked through the grainy corner television, settling on a Spanish station that was playing a soccer game. Once the donuts were eaten and the morphine drip run out, John and Lizzie said their goodbyes. I did too, and then hesitated. "You can do homework here if you want," FAC said. I thought he was asking me to stay, so I did. For way too long. Over the next 3 days, I got to know FAC's mom, spent hours with his camp friend who had driven in from Elon, and made out with FAC in his hospital bed. I walked him around the floor post-surgery, watched soap operas with him in bed, and missed what my friends called the party of the year. To put it into some perspective, I was there so often that the nurse assumed I was his sister and started giving me his health updates rather than his family. It wasn't until she walked in on him feeling me up, because boobs are nature's morphine, she realized the truth. 4 years later, the mass Snapchat I sent out of FAC eating pizza in bed with the caption, "Lost a pizza his lung, got a pizza my heart," still haunts me. I mean, the pun is bad enough, but a pizza of my heart? I would punch myself if I could. Even with this, at the time, I really didn't think the amount of time I was spending at the hospital was weird or aggressive. I had the same boyfriend for all of high school, so the idea of being casual, which I later learned is what you're supposed to be in the weird gray area of Duke's hookup culture, it didn't make any sense to me. When my friends asked me why I was still at the hospital, I answered matter-of-factly, because he needs me. Sure enough, after a weekend of being a hospital wife for my FAC, things got weird. We couldn't really look each other in the eye anymore, and he slowly began to ghost me over text until we didn't speak at all. It took us a full year to finally, drunkenly, acknowledge what had happened, and another to actually become friends. I discussed my FAC's catheter with his mom after we'd only been hooking up for a month. How do you recover from that?